Hey,
All set now?
all set, Mario. It's all yours.
All right. So I'm going to be going back and let me go up here, back and forth. Um, and this is what I gave to the Winter Star Party. But what I'm going to do is I've got in PowerPoint and all the steps, but I want to show you the steps, how they progress. So I also have, let me show you that 1 second. The only problem is I got to stop share and share each time when I do that. But um, now you can see my PixInsight, right?
Yes.
Okay. So there are steps that are slow, um, such as BlurX and NoiseX and Star Exterminator and a few others. So rather than have you watch paint dry, I've got it all on a PowerPoint. But the important steps I do want to show you. And when I get to a long step, I'll just jump over it because I saved the next steps along the side. Okay. So it may appear a little choppy, but that's the reason. The second thing to say is I'm going to show, um, first of all, red, green, blue luminance with and also how to add hydrogen alpha to a good galaxy. And I chose M51 for that. Then I'm going to show how to do one-shot color and I'm sorry, narrowband processing, and then finally one-shot color. And if we got time at the end and people on board, I'll show you that new dual filter technique. And I thought it was initially a little silly at first, but when I tried it, I realized how important it is. And I'll demonstrate that in the last few slides, okay? And it's a small group, so feel free to ask questions as far as I'm concerned. So let me go back at the stop and go and share each time, but it with the stop party, I could just flip back and forth. Can't do that here, but that's all right, not a problem. All right, so here is, um, whoops, why does it keep, okay. So here is the first one we're going to work on. How did I do M51? And just at the Winter Stop Party, I gave a little brief history of the evolution of imaging. I think I may have given that to GAAC in the past, did I?
A version, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to go do all that because this is a processing group, and that's what I'm going to concentrate on. But here is my first image of M51 way back in the early 80s. And this was on film, Tri-X film. Okay. Uh, Leaves a lot to be desired. At the time, I was kind of excited. Then this is my first CCD image on a CCD I built. Uh, the that kit that you put together, and a little better. Then here is Photoshop processing, and here is PixInsight processing. To me, it's a no-brainer. I like PixInsight processing. Now, there are several others. There's Zero and there's others that you can go to. But after, and there's a little bit of a learning curve with PixInsight, but I think it's the best one out there. And I'll just show you how I do it. And then you guys can decide for yourself what you like and what you don't like. Um, in PixInsight, there's a few add-ons that I think is worth getting, and one is BlurX. It makes a major advance in the sharpness and the deconvolution. All deconvolution programs up to this point and in other programs aren't as good as this. And I'll demonstrate that. So here is 891 CCD image, 891 CMOS image, 891 with PixInsight.
Ooh.
M13, M13. It just keeps getting better. Now this is 6888. from film to PixInsight on CMOS. It's a little bit of an improvement. All right. So let's go through M50. Okay, these are the objects I'm going to do. M51, DDB 142, which is the elephant's trunk. This is taken to my 32, and both of those are to my 32-inch. And this one is narrowband processing. And then I'll use the Heart Nebular for one-shot color processing. All right, here just a few others that I've done to show what's possible. All right, and here's the workflow. If you download that PDF that Mike turned it into, you're going to get this. And basically, linear processing and the steps that it'll say one-shot color only. The Bayer must do this before alignment, so ignore the ones that require. But rather than give you 3 different algorithms, I put it all together in one, and I occasionally refer to this myself, and I think it's easier to have it in one. Okay, and then more steps, and then more steps. So go through that. This is what you can get from PixInsight Group. You can use those instead. I like mine because I can continually update it. Okay, but that's what they put out if you look on their websites. All right, so first of all, how to make and customize and save icons. So we're going to do M51 with RGB, Loom, and H-alpha. And here is the Loom. And notice the green, red, and blue are much lighter in background. So let me stop here and go to my open window. Here, PixInsight. Okay, you see my PixInsight surface now, right? Okay. Here is the very first step that I see whenever I'm given a talk on how to process. Most people skip, and it's a huge mistake. I'm going to teach you something that's important to do, and it'll save you endless amount of time later. You can fix it, but you're going to waste a lot of time trying to fix it. I'm going to say this a couple of times. Fix as much as you can in linear format before you go nonlinear. Okay? Your life will be much easier in processing. So right now we're linear. Notice the Loom is much brighter than the red. That's because the background isn't the same density. There's a way to fix that. You can combine the red, green, blue, and then fix that. Try to fix it in different ways. This is a flawless way to do it. Up on the right, and by the way, I put on my steps here, so I can just click through them in the way that's in that format I just gave you, the processing steps. And I advise you to do the same. If you don't know how to do that, let me just pick one at random. Okay, let's pick a process, and I don't know. No, we already have that. Let's just do PixMath, which is scary to most people, but it's not really. So let's say you have a process, you make settings in it that are good for your system, and you want to make a whole bunch of icons on the right rather than opening it all up and resetting it each time or writing down what your best settings are. Take this thing, shade it, and then you can rename it. Okay. Well, I didn't do that, but I have to do that before. But this is PixMath. And then when you have a whole bunch of them, you right-click on the screen and go down here and process icons, save process icons. Okay, so if I click that, it's going to save everything I have on the right plus this one here. I don't want to do that because you have to name it. and you can name it whatever you want. Okay, I just name my Motta processes. And so every time I open, I basically go over here, File, and I say Open Recent Icon Files, and I go here and click on that, and all these appear. Okay, that's a time-saving step right there that'll save you 1 or 2 hours. Make your icons, save them, name them, and the first step you do after you open up PixInsight is open recent icon files. Everyone got that?
Yep.
Real easy to do. You just saved yourself an hour.
Hey,
Because
Mario,
now you have
can we interrupt with questions, or would you rather have them in the chat?
from anyone except named Bruce, yes.
Okay, I'll go by my middle name just so I can get by that little rule.
Okay.
Can you save the icons?
Yes.
Say, could you send that icon set to another person or use it on a different machine?
There is a way to do it, but I've tried it a few times and it gets very tricky. But it's real easy to do your own. Just, again, iconize it and process icons, save process icons, and arrange them in the way you want on the right before you save it. And it'll always be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to get rid of this one because I don't need it. Okay? That answered the question, I hope?
Yeah. Yep.
You don't sound convinced, but all right. So here is the next best thing you got to do, linear fit. How many people use that? Anyone? Okay, so I'm going to teach you an important step. This is frequently skipped, and I don't understand why. So notice how the backgrounds are different. You can fix it later. It's hard to do. This is easy. So look here for the reference image. And, oh, the other thing I should show you is you should identify. They used to keep the name that you had. I have no idea why. It comes up as image 20 instead of Loom, which it should be. But you can just right-click on identifier, rename it Loom. Now it's Loom, okay? And I have to do that each time. You didn't have to do that in the past. I don't know why they changed that. But over here, view selected. Make it, where is it? I have so many open here. Hold on. Loom. Click, make that Loom. Okay. See how these are different? I use Loom for the background. Take the your little triangle, put it on image 19, which happens to be red. Looks dark now. Now it's matched. Do the same with green. Now it's matched. And do the same with blue. Now they're all matched. When you combine the color and the loom, you're not going to have funny backgrounds that you have to fix, which can be done with certain other steps, but it's much harder to do in these other steps. If you do linear fit to begin with, you eliminate all that hassle. Is that clear?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I can't stress it enough because I find this step is the one most frequently missed by people trying to process, and then they can't figure out why they can't get the colors right. That's why. All right, so now we have several steps. The H alpha I'm going to just tuck over here for now. We'll deal with that one later. So now what you want to do is combine, let me get the loom out of the way. You want to take channel combination, and because these are not labeled, I have to, hold on a second. That's why I'm annoyed with that they changed that. So you have to know which one you're dealing with. That's blue. You never had to do this before the last couple of updates for some reason. I don't know why they did that. All right. And identify a red. Okay. So now you have your red, green, and blue to make the color. Drag the red over to R. Drag the green over to G. And drag the blue over to B for blue. And then click that icon. And you have your color image as a start. A lot of times it's going to come up as this little link over here. Let me show you what that looks like. Actually, in this case, it's fine. But many a time, especially the narrow bands, if you have this link, you're going to get very funny colors. I find if you unlink that and do this, you get a more natural color and it's easier to start with. So that's a second major tip. All right, so now you have red, green, blue, which I usually just change the color just so I know what I'm dealing with. Okay, and you have loom. Now, let's see. I have, the next steps you're going to do is to to use either, let me bring it up, either GAAC or gradient correction. Okay? You might want to crop it. I usually do. So actually, I lied. You should crop it slightly, especially see how the bottom here has some overlapped edges.
Yeah.
That's not good. You want to get rid of those. So even just a little bit. Otherwise, especially when you use GAAC, you get these funny colors all along the edge if you don't crop it first. So you crop like that. And you know what? Let me tell you another tip. I went back, and there's a reason for that. Okay, now I got to close it and open it up again. Hold on. There's one step I want to show you. So I'm going to crop it. Oh, come on. Damn it. All right, I'm going to leave it like that just so I don't want to waste any more time. No, damn it, I have to. I apologize. This is important, so I'm going to make sure you get it. Go back again. Crop. Okay. Normally, I don't make all these stupid errors, but let me. Okay. Now it's cropped the way I want. Take the new instance arrow, triangle here, and drag it down.
Where's this, Mario?
Called it process 132, okay? Doesn't
Where's
matter.
this, Mario?
What's
Where's this
that?
triangle?
Excuse me?
Where's this triangle?
Right here. Right here. The dynamic crop, all PixInsights have a triangle, a check mark.
Oh, at
and
the
an
bottom
X.
there. Oh, at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Drag it down before you say, okay, do it. And this is why. So I'm going to do this, and now it's there, right? But the problem is now the loom, you can't combine it with that unless it matches. You take your process thing you just made and just put on it. And the same thing with the H alpha, put it on. Now they're all matched, and you can now combine them later. If you try to do 3 separate crops and they don't match even by a pixel, you can't stack them. So what you do is, like I said, you take the triangle, make a process icon, and then execute, and then use that to crop the other two. And now you can work with them as you go along. All right? That clear?
Yeah.
All right. Now, I'm taking time on these steps because it's the same for all of them, no matter which one-shot color or all the others. All right. So now I'm going to go back to stop share. All right. All right, so this is where we were just a moment ago, right? So linear fit, the color combined.
I'm only seeing your face, Mario.
What's that?
I only see your face. Is there something I'm missing?
No, this is good for you.
Oh, okay.
It'll make for a more pleasant night.
Well, we can't see your desktop though.
You don't need to see my face. You need to see the what I'm showing you.
I don't
We're
see
not
what
seeing
you're
your
showing.
desktop.
Can you see my desktop? That's
No.
what's important.
No.
Yes?
No.
No. Lost it.
I'm confused.
Did you
What's going
reshare?
on?
Mario, you're just showing your head. There's no desktop.
Mario, it doesn't look like you're sharing.
Okay, let me go back then.
No, if it does that, we'll have an emergency. I'll have to do it.
What the heck?
It's like they want a record and everyone writes it down.
Hold on. Let me go back.
Someone
Not
should
sure what I
mute.
did wrong, but let me go back.
So anything that you done with the garden has to be done by inside. Yeah.
Why is this going away?
So if the line is cut, but it's a second, you will be routing up from the line, and cut them down.
Somebody should mute.
Okay, here we go. Let's start again. Let me share. Maybe I forgot to do share. All right. So share.
There we go.
Okay, I apologize. I got to remember to do share each time. All right.
What's that?
Okay. And you can see my face now, which is probably too bad for you.
Listen.
I don't want this, so went way ahead now all of a sudden. All right, so here's what I showed you already live. Okay, linear fit and the color combine, right?
Yep.
Okay. Dynamic crop, make them all match.
Yep.
Okay, now GAAC. You can use GAAC, or there is a new gradient correction that they put out, PixInsight. That's been out now about 3 or 4 months. If you got an update, you already have it. If you don't, you should update. But it's better than the original. You don't have to put little marks all over the place. It's just kind of automatic. So, but in this case, I used GAAC. It doesn't matter which one you use. Okay, so next, this is GAAC. Let me go back. See how it had color? With GAAC, all that went away, right? It corrected the background. And you do the same for all 3 of them. Next, blur exterminator. And look at the stars, how much, here's the stars without blur exterminator. And pay attention to the detail. You need blur exterminator to have stars because it uses the point spread function of the star in order to improve the whole image, including the object itself, which in this case happens to be M51. So don't remove the stars until you do GAAC first. I'm sorry, until you do blur exterminator first. But look at the stars, how much they improved, and look at the detail in the galaxy, right? That look good?
Yeah.
That's about a 3-minute step for me, so I'm not going to demonstrate it. Just do Blur Exterminator. And if you, here's another tip. It would take time to demonstrate, but you see this little checkbox says correct only?
Okay.
Okay, so if you have a poor drive that or you had a bad night and it's giving you elongated stars, all right, click that, correct only, and then go through. And what it does is it fixes elongated stars. It doesn't touch the object. Okay, then go back and do the full Blur Exterminator set up like this: sharpen stars, adjust star halos, and automatic PSF, and you'll get what I'm showing you in front of you right now. All right, and you do that to all three. All right. So, okay, I did show different stretches here. I guess I put it into the program. So here's multi-scale stretch, which is the new stretch. And here is the older histogram stretch, which is the historical one right here, histogram. And here is GAAC. So you got 3 different kinds of stretches, and they all kind of do the same thing. The histogram I would still keep there. Sometimes you get a poor result either with multi-scale stretch, which is their new stretch, or with GAAC. And I go to histogram to tweak it and get a perfect result. Frequently, it's perfectly fine. In this case, the multi-scale stretch did a perfectly fine job. And the GAAC did as well. My subs were pretty good. But let's say you have poor subs and it's having a hard time. You can always tweak it by going to histogram after doing multi-scale stretch and background extract or GAAC, and tweak it and make it right for yourself. Okay, now from this point, after you did all these preliminary steps, and I skip, by the way, stacking and all that. I mean, you guys must know how to stack, right?
Hey,
I
Matt,
hope.
a quick question. I'm sorry I'm late. This multi-view stretch, is that a new module for Pix? Or is it in
That is in the module, yes. If you don't have it, that means you haven't updated recently.
Okay, so it's a new new
Correct.
process. Okay.
They put it out as an automatic version of where is it? Gradient correction. I even took it off that, so I don't have it up there anymore because I never use it. But if you do gradient correction, you get these. Then the multi-scale stretch is down here, and there's a thing called Verilux stretch. And that one you have to, if you like that, I'm not on my screen, hold on. If you like that, you have to download it from the Verilux people, just Google it. I use it occasionally, and that's why I keep it up here. Sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't, and multi-scale stretch. But you can always use histogram stretch, which is their tried and true one. All right, so now we have nonlinear, and by the way, you can tell it's, let me go back. You see this little green line over here? Everyone see that green line? Someone say something.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. That means you're in a linear state. That's what PixInsight tells you you're linear. Once you go nonlinear and do the stretches, that green line goes away. Now you're nonlinear. Okay? Just a tip so you can keep track of what you're doing. In this case, GAAC is still not linear, it's still linear, but stretched by the screen stretcher, which is not permanent, whereas these two have been stretched. All right. So now we have the GAAC background extraction and the loom. And some people just do red, green, blue. It depends on how good the colors are in the background. I still like to do loom because it gives you a lot of good detail. It's half dozen or 12 of another. It really depends on your preferences. I'm just telling you how I do it. I don't have to take an hour worth of red, green, or blue, although sometimes I do and don't do loom. Okay, I do, and when I do a loom color combine, I may typically do loom for an hour of subs, an hour's worth of subs, and that's what this one is. And that allows me to luxury of not taking as much color imaging as I need. So this, in this case, these were all about 20 to 30 minutes of color, but that's perfectly fine. The detail is not going to be in the color. The detail is going to be in the loom, and you're using the abbreviated version of stacking just for the color, which doesn't have much detail in it compared to the loom. So now you're going to add loom. Okay, I don't know if I showed that. Let me, I may not have put that in the slide deck, but over on the right, you see a process called, where is it? LRGB. That's loom, red, green, blue. And that's on the processes. I'm not in, I keep forgetting I'm in PowerPoint, so I can't click it down. But go to process and just look for LRGB, and that's what its actual name is. And when you do that, you take the loom, okay, and say that what you're going to do here is use loom 1, but that's what the name of this is, and you then going to take the arrow, the little triangle here, and put it on top of the red, green, blue. Okay, let me show you what that next step will look like then. Now you've combined loom to the R green blue. Okay, I could do this live, but it'll just take a lot more time. I'm trying to save time here for you, but those are all the actual processing steps. So, and by the way, this is star exterminated now. Now, after you combine them, is the right time to eliminate the stars. I tuck the stars up here, and now I have the M51 combo. Now I make a mask. Okay, and the mask is range mask right here. These are all on the processes when you make your own icons. Okay, and so there is a range mask, and there's also fame. Let me go back because that's probably an important step. I'm going to stop share. Share. Go to PixInsight. Okay. Do you see my PixInsight screen?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So if you go processes here, loom, here it is, loom RGB combo. That's all that was. Okay. And the after you combine them, you got this color image. This is a couple of steps back, actually. Let me move up here. Okay. I don't want to waste your time, but basically, let me go back to the PowerPoint. I forget even why I went over to this to show something. Oh, yeah, that's right. Hold on.
How many
So
years?
under utilities, which comes with PixInsight, there's a thing called game. And you can add luminous. Okay, you can add these. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing the galaxies. Anyways, you can do, there's a step I must be missing so you can see the galaxy, but that's all right. This is how you add it, and you just stretch it to match what you're
Mario, you
trying.
need to select the auto STF on the top right.
That's what oh, there it is. Okay, I was up imaging the other night, and I don't think I've caught up on my sleep. All right, so, and that's one way to do it. And then just hit OK. And you have a mask you can use. Now, let me show you a different one, which I find a little better. I process under script, under toolbox, and it's called, SETI Astro, Fame. This one you have to download, but it's a freebie. Just Google SETI Astro and download their whole set, which is what you're seeing on the right there, and go down to Fame.
When you say SETI Astro, is that SEETY or CETY?
What's that? Let
SETI
me show
Astro.
you again. I got to get rid of this so I can do the Fame. Go to script, SETI Astro, SETI Astro.
Okay.
Google that, and it's a free download, which you can then incorporate into PixInsight.
Thank you.
They'll give you the link that you put in. You guys know how to do that, right? Probably should show you. While I'm in PixInsight, let me show you. Go to updates, okay, manage repositories, and you see all these things I've added? Then say add, and the link you get from SETI Astro, you put right there. You copy it and put it into the URL right here. Then click OK. All right, I'm going to cancel that. Click OK and then click OK again. And then do update, and you'll get SETI Astro in your scripts. Just a couple of steps and you have it all. All right, so now let me show you the other one, which is from them, Fame, which I like a lot. Okay, and why am I not? So here, auto STF again. All right, so in this one, you click Control and then left click your mouse. Oops. Sorry, Shift? Yeah, Shift and left click your mouse. I'm not being very careful here, but this is just for demonstration purposes. Okay, and then execute. What happened now? Mass creation. I'm not sure why it's not going through, but PixInsight. Oh, there must be a tiny gap in the line here somewhere. But that's what that means. But it has to be a complete loop. But that's how you do it, and then you just click execute, and you can make a mask that way. So for odd shapes that aren't galaxies and ellipses, you can use that one, which you can get from SETI Astro. All right, so let me go back to the PowerPoint. Got to remember to share first. Come on. Share. PowerPoint. Okay. All right, so we made our mask. This one was a range mask, and this one was with Fame, which I just showed you. They're similar. Each one has their pluses and minuses. I use both of them interchangeably. Come on. Okay. So now, the next step is multi-scale median transform, which is a long name, so I just made it sharp 1. Okay, over here. You can name these things anything you want. So, and this is the parameters I use. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. I modified these to be perfect for my 32-inch. You may find by modifying it, in general, you pick some baseline for the 1 pixel, then pick another one for the second. After that, it's almost always a doubling. And you have a 7th level, which is 64 pixel squares, and then you have the residual. But by doing this, it sharpens on multi-levels. 1 pixel, 2 pixels, all the way up to 64 and 128 pixels at a time. And I went from, where is it? From that to that by using that. It's an excellent tool. In most cases, for the average telescope, you can use their standard parameters. If you find that you're having a little bit of trouble, things are a little too bright or too dim or whatever, play around with the parameters, then iconize it and match it to your particular system and your filters. For me, this is what works, and it's pretty close to the original, actually. Okay, but everything in PixInsight has suggested settings.
Mario, I got a question.
Yeah.
Does that process, the multi-scale median transform, does it have documentation?
Yes, almost all of them will have documentation. I'll have to show you how to get there. Hold on. Okay, so let's say this one, and I want that tells you it's applying. This is a new instance like I showed you. Real-time preview, I hardly ever use that, but you can use it if you want. This doesn't have, there it goes. So if you hover over the kernel radius, it describes what that means. You see that?
Right, but is the little bottom right, was that the...
No, it's the arrow. If you hover, see, I can change this to a different setting. Now notice I have it repeated 3 times because I find it pain in the neck to change it to different settings. So I just did 125, 75, and 160 because it's good to do local histogram equalization at 3 different levels. I don't always use that, but I frequently use that. And to save me time, because I don't want to spend 10 hours processing, I just made 3 different versions of it. And I just click, bring it over. Okay, done. Click on the next one, 75, bring it over. Oh, you know why this isn't working? This is still linear state. See the green? Doesn't work that way. Got to be in the nonlinear, but somehow I never advanced this particular one. But that's not the point. The point is that's how you do it. Let me get rid of that. All right, so yes, get rid of that. All right, so I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint.
Mario?
Yeah.
You would talk about this multi-scale medium transfer for sharpening, and you can do it at different levels. When do you use that versus blur exterminator?
Okay, hold on. Let me just bring up my PowerPoint. So blur exterminator is best used in the linear state.
Okay.
Okay, you can use it nonlinear, but I've spoken to Russell Croman, who invented it, and this you buy it from, and he strongly advises do the blur exterminator in the linear state. You'll get much better results. That's what it was designed for. Then I do noise X, like I showed you, right? Blur X, then noise X. Then I get histogram transfer. And in the linear, I'm sorry, the non-linear state, which we're in now, that's when you use the multi-scale median transform.
Okay.
That clear?
Yep.
Okay. That's not to say you can't try BlurX in the nonlinear, but that's not what it was designed for.
Okay.
Okay. So
That's
now
why
we
usually
have
do it at the early stages, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So multi-scale median transform now is done. Come on. Okay, there we go. And look what happened. See the difference? Magical. Now it's starting to look like a really good photo. Colors aren't perfect yet, but it's starting to look like a good photo. Okay, so next is the, okay, I'll get to that in a moment. Next, you do the local histogram equalization. I do in 3 steps. You don't have to. You can try one. I find 3 steps works best, and that's what Warren Miller and a couple of the other titans of this thing suggest. Okay, so now is about the right time to add H alpha to the galaxy. What kind of nanometer bandwidth do you guys have? Just yell it out. They come in 3s, 5s, 7s, and 9 10s. Which ones are you using? Do you know? For narrowband, H alpha. No one knows their filters?
I use 5.
5, okay. So they have 3s, 5s, 7s, and 9. 5s is pretty good. They get progressively more expensive the narrower it goes, because then it's harder to manufacture. And the reason I wanted you to know that is the following. You've heard of the fact that the universe is expanding, right? Everyone knows that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So guess what happens when you try to do H alpha in a galaxy that's 100 million light years away or further?
It's shifted.
It has drifted out of the band that you're trying to use, and you get no H alpha. That's more of a problem with the extremely tight ones, like 3 nanometers were great for galactic objects. You eliminated all sky pollution, and it's just the band you want. 5 nanometers allows you to go up to about 70 million light years away. 7 nanometers allows you to go to about 90 to 100 million light years away on a galaxy, and 10s allow you to go up to about 12 or 13 million light years away. What happens is, if you think of the narrow cone of the filter, and the universe is expanding, so that H alpha signal has redshifted out of the narrow band. And that's why I'm making a point to tell you. I had a long discussion about this one day with Warren Miller. And Pete, they didn't even realize it at first. But if you, I think the person who discovered it was Block, that guy who does a lot of shows on processing. But he noted that he sometimes doesn't get good H alpha, and he finally figured it out, and it's been verified. If you have a very narrow band filter, you can't go 90 or 100 million light years away for galaxies. You won't get anything, unlike what you're seeing here in front of me.
Yeah, Mary,
Okay.
I vaguely remember that with my RASIT telescope, that they said you can't really use the very narrow band also.
Well, you can up to, oh no, that's different. the rafter is a extremely tight cone. You have to
Yeah.
get a filter that's made for that tight cone.
Mhm.
That's a different issue altogether. You're not talking
Right.
about the expansion
Yeah,
of the
they told me
universe.
to avoid the narrow band, super narrow band. So anyway,
You can use narrowband. You have to get one that's made for an
For the
F2
rafter.
system.
Yeah.
They have special filters for F2, and they have special filters for F4 and above, which is what you're seeing here.
Mhm.
Okay. So anyways, here's the H alpha. You want to add it to this to give it a little more oomph. So there's a formula, and unfortunately there's no good process that I can direct you to. So you're just going to have to copy this down and make your own PixInsight math thing. It's max, parentheses, $T, which that means this particular, whatever you got on the screen, and 0, meaning you're not going to change it, okay, and then a comma. All right, and then over here you have 1.2 times H alpha. That, in this particular case, that's what I multiplied this by 1.2 of the base image, and I was able to get that out of it. Okay, now that, what you do is you put an A where it says 1.2, you should just do an A, and then you change it to whatever you want. It can be 1 to 2, and sometimes I don't like Andy Warhol type pictures of galaxies. If you put a 2 there, you'll have these big bright blotches all over the place, and it looks like an Andy Warhol poster. I dislike that. So pick what looks best to you and looks natural. In this particular case, I chose 1.2. I got that out of it. And you can see the H alpha on it, but it doesn't overwhelm the actual image. Are we good with that?
Yep.
Okay, that's how you add H alpha. So let's go on to narrowband processing now. So this will be with your narrowband filters. This doesn't look great on the screen. This is taken with my 8-inch Hyperstar, and you can see the elephant's trunk there. And here's what it looks through the 32-inch. Okay, so let's show you how we get to that. So H alpha, sulfur, and O3. Now the O3 looks close enough to the H alpha that it's probably fine, but the sulfur, you're going to get a bad background if you try to, and it becomes more noticeable with the narrowband because there's nothing to bury it in here. This is all narrowband. So especially with the narrowband filters, do the linear fit and notice how it changed, okay? I used H alpha as the background, and now they're all matching. Automatically, you're not going to have problems with the background when you combine them. If you don't do linear fit, you're asking for trouble. You can fix it later. It's a lot of work. Okay, next step is to combine the narrowband combination. Here's a new program called Narrowband Hue Combination. Okay? And it may be worth showing you how to do that, but it's much better than the old ways I used to do it. So let me stop share and go to...
So once again, Mario, is that a new process that's part of the new PixInsight release, or is that a...
Yes.
Okay.
It's a new process.
Okay.
I always keep forgetting where it is, though. It's in Toolbox, I think.
Mario, let me jump in here for just a second.
Yeah.
We're hitting 9 o'clock pretty quick.
Okay.
And you guys can go until Thursday if you want to. All right, that's fine with me. It's no skin off my nose. I got to step away for a little while, but this will run all by itself. You guys decide how long you want this to go, okay?
I'm happy to take as long as necessary or to make it very quick. You tell me.
Well, take a vote.
Okay, so that's where it is. Whoops. You go to Script, Toolbox, Narrowband Hue Combination. Okay? And when you click on that, you get this. Let me bring up stretched. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to waste time bringing those up. Let me just show you. You see how the hue is red? Let's say you want, you have to select. So you're going to choose H alpha, which I don't have. I don't have the baseline one. I don't want to go back to my files to bring it out. You're going to just say H alpha here, O3 here, and S2 here for your subs, okay? And if you have some red, green, blue that you want to mix in with it, you can do that as well. It's very versatile. If you decide you don't want H alpha as red, you slide this over and you can make a green, like the Hubble, in which case you're going to take the sulfur and slide it over to red. You see that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I personally don't like the green of the Hubble palette, so I'm frequently, for me, I always have it set up kind of like this. I make sulfur yellow, H alpha red, and oxygen, this teal color. That's the Motta palette that I like. Okay. All right. So that's where you get it, and that's how you combine them. So here is after they were combined. Okay. Next with GAAC, but that was the narrow band that you just shot. This is what you get right in front of you. Next, the GAAC spurt. Okay, and this is more than GAAC spurt. This is also BlurX. So GAAC spurt and BlurX, and you get this. Next, post BlurX, but then this should have come first, post BlurX, and then with the GAAC spurt, and then stretched, and then let me show you. We get to the final. So let me go back to, but you can see the progression of that. Let me minimize these again, get them out of the way. But it's very similar to what I just showed you in the red, green, blue.
Mario, can I ask a question?
Of course.
When you get done with all this processing, if I was in outer space looking at the object with my naked eye, is this what it would look like?
If you had an eyeball that was maybe 10 feet in diameter, I'm not sure what you're asking.
Well, if I was sitting...
Are you asking is it true color?
Right.
Okay. That is a difficult question because studies have shown what you perceive as blue is different from what I perceive as blue. We all have biological differences in that, which is interesting. But you know what blue is to you because you've lived with it your entire life. But it becomes a problem when you're working on a screen and you make it look what blue is to you, and then you try to give it to someone else, and it looks greenish blue or looks teal, because that's what it looks like to that person. Okay, that's just a little bit of medicine there. So it's really difficult to say what's true color. There are ways to fix that, and they even have programs. I have to go back to the PixInsight, but there is a program that will analyze the stars in your field of view and then use the colors of those stars that it knows, it's all been cataloged, and give you, quote, true color, which may look great to you and not so great depending on your color vision. That's why I'm saying it's a difficult question.
sure. I understand
The other
everybody.
difficulty is
different
it
idea.
that every screen is different.
Yeah,
And
I
every
understand.
screen is different too, another complication.
I-
But it's even more basic than that. Every eyeball is
Yeah.
different.
Mhm.
I also understand there's no such thing as color, according to somebody I've listened to, that it's all,
Well, some people are colorblind in one or two
well,
colors.
right, it's all wavelengths too. So
Correct.
our idea of color and what really is going on is weird. You've done great work with this, and I really know very little about how to process this stuff. That's why I'm here to learn.
Yeah.
And
Anyways, all I can say is you work on it till it looks right to you, and then you hope people like it as well. There's nothing else you can do.
Yeah.
All right, so here is the narrowband combination. You can see my settings on it. Then I get this out of it, Blur Exterminator. Then I got this after this in this case I use multi-scale stretch. And then I did a thing called HO normalization that just normalizes H alpha things. That's in your pile of processes as well. And it just tweaks the colors to do exactly what you just asked, to make it more natural color. It's a normalization program. And I think it works pretty well, but again, someone with a different eyeball or a different screen may disagree with me. All right, so then it's nonlinear now, and I got rid of the stars. And I did the same processes you saw for red, green, blue, exactly the same all the way down. Multi-scale sharpening, LHE, 3 different levels, and then and notice it's flipped the other way. I tried it in all my photos to make sure north is up and east is to the left. So I rotate them at the end for that reason. So here's the final product. Okay?
amazing.
So now let's do one-shot color, because that one's a little different. Okay. Actually, let me... beginning, I gotta share each time. So let me, here's PixInsight, share, all right. So here is my, whoops, here is my integration. I don't know where this came from. Okay, I don't know what happened here. Hold on. Let me go back to my PowerPoint. I think I have to open up my PixInsight window again. All right, so here is the PowerPoint. You can see my picture there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So one-shot color processing, the Heart Nebula. We're going to get that. I think it's a pretty nice picture, right?
Yeah.
One-shot color. And that was taken with my Hyperstar or my 8-inch piggybacked. So the first thing you got to do before you do anything, first of all, do blink first, because you may find some subs that are not good and they'll screw you up. So you go through blink, you load all the subs you want, and just blink through them. You can even do it automatically with this arrow right here, and stop it when you see something bad. Go to this one here that says delete this sub. So the one that's highlighted, you're going to delete. And you keep doing that until you have all good subs. Then you save them to a separate folder, so you don't have to deal with the ones that are bad. Okay, that just takes time to do it. I don't want to waste your time. Is that fairly clear?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So then once you've done all, you got all the files you want, you got to debayer first. And the reason is with one-shot color, and this is why it's different than the other processes, you have 4 pixels that are going to act as one. You have a red, 2 greens, and a blue. And they're put in front, and that pattern is repeated across the entire chip. If you shift that before you debayer, you're going to get some very weird color impressions, because what should be blue may end up on a green or may end up on a red. Okay, so don't do anything other than blink. Don't do anything until you use the debayer step. That clear to everyone?
Yep.
Okay, and then once it's debayered, then you can do alignment.
Excuse me, Mario, don't you want to calibrate before debayer?
If my subs are usually pretty good, and this is one-shot color, so it's not, you don't need to do those calibration steps like I showed you with red, green, blue to make sure the background is the same, because it's all on one frame.
Well, you just treat it like monochrome for the calibration part.
Correct. Okay, so the steps are debayer, alignment, and then integration. And sometimes, let's say you have a system where you have a small camera, you can do what's thing called drizzle integration. And you should drizzle anyways to get rid of hot pixels. If you do that, when you do the integration step, you can click on a box that says drizzle integration. Let me go to that, because that's probably an important step. Share. PowerPoint. I think I lost somehow my okay, hold on a second. I'm going to minimize this. I just got to open up my, come on. What the heck is going on here? This is my PowerPoint, and it's, come on. Okay, fine. I got to open up PixInsight again. Somehow that crashed in the middle of all that. Let me bring it up. Actually, this would be a good thing to show how I open up. So let me share here. Come on. Where's my share? Can you guys still hear me? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me PixInsight bring that up. All right, you see my screen is just empty because I lost all the things I saved for you. I just want to show you this. Open recent icon files. All my icon files are back. Okay, and
That's
I said I was up imaging the other night. I'm still recovering, trying to remember what I came here for. I think it was to show you debayer. Okay, so debayer, you're going to add files, and then you're going to do an output directory so you don't mix up the debayered files with the files you have. Let me minimize this. Can you see my baseline screen? What are you seeing right now?
seeing a gray background with a couple of boxes.
PixInsight desktop.
Never mind. Okay. Hold on. Let me go back to PixInsight. Okay, you see my PixInsight screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I was going to try to show you something, but I can't bring it up without starting it all over again. Anyways, what I do is I make a folder and I make it simple. Let's say I'm doing an SH2 object so it's SH2 108. I'll do S1, S2, S3. So I will just add the files, and as the debayed, I'll say send the results to S1. Now I'm dealing with all the debayed files. Next, I can do cosmetic correction. If you've got a lot of hot and cold pixels, it's worth doing. You need an output directory as well, so you don't mix them up. And auto detect works very well. I hardly ever have to change that. If you find that you got hot pixels you got to fix, then just raise this. Okay, I bet you hardly ever have to change that. Next is alignment. Okay, you need a reference image. Go pick a good one, add your files, and then here you pick your output directory. So now I'm working on S3 if I had 3 different files. But here is an important thing. Let's say it doesn't work out well. Sometimes the stars are too faint. Increase the sensitivity of the stars. Okay, and then do it again, and you'll get a better star alignment. Occasionally, star alignment fails me. I can always fix it by increasing the sensitivity, but it takes longer, so don't do that routinely unless you have to. And then finally, integration. Okay, and this is an important step. Add your files that are all aligned. Average is fine. But here is a step that you gotta not, see how here pixel rejection, it says no rejection? Okay, instead of reading all this, if you do no rejection, nothing changes. You don't get rid of anything bad. Depending on how many subs you have, I always pick Winsorized Sigma clipping. I feel it works the best. But if you have under than 10, it doesn't work so great. So if you have under 10 subs, do either Sigma clipping, which is my next favorite, or percentile clipping. But if you have more than 10, I strongly recommend this, and so do the big guys like Warren Miller, okay? But if you don't do that and you forget to, which I've done occasionally in my haste, nothing changes, and you're stacking all the bad pixels as well. Okay, otherwise you get no rejection of bad pixels. So that's how you do image integration. Then there is drizzle integration if you chose to drizzle and stacked with drizzling. And I should show you that. So alignment. Yes, there is a place here. How do you generate drizzle data right here? Click that box. Okay, and if you do that and do alignment, then when you get to drizzle integration, you can use drizzle integration. If you didn't do that box, it'll say no drizzle data to be used. Okay, but you can always just align it with integration, which is 90% of the time I don't bother with it. I use this. All right, that clear? Hello?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and go back to the PowerPoint. Whoops, closed PowerPoint without saying what I'm sharing. Okay, PowerPoint, share, here we go. Okay. All right, you see my PowerPoint now?
Yep.
Let me go back. All right, so here is my raw coming out of the integration. Looks pretty lousy, doesn't it?
Yep.
But from that, we're going to get what I showed you at the beginning. So here's the image integration, and it gives you this. I took a clone. I frequently make clones. That way I may experiment if I'm not sure which way I'm going to go. Let's say I'm not sure I want to do GAAC or grading correction. I sort of have a good idea which one will work better, but sometimes it's in between my parameters, and I'll just make a clone and I'll do both, and then I'll pick the best one. Okay? It's sort of similar to what Dennis DeChico once told me many years ago when he taught me a few things, and that is, what's the secret to being a great photographer? Because everyone says he's a great photographer. He takes 100 photos and only shows you the one best one. That's his secret. And in a way, it's similar to this. Pick the clone that'll work best for you. I pick the process that'll work best for you, and just pick the best one. So here is integration, and it's it happens to be a clone. And in this case, I chose GAAC, and it came out pretty nice. Went from this to that just with GAAC. Pretty nice step, don't you think?
Yep.
And this is, let's see, post
BlurX.
BlurX and post noise. Okay, so here is the original. After BlurX and noise, that's what you got. Now it's looking better and better. Looks like you got $1 million telescope. Remember, that's what we started with down below. And by the way, see the green background? That's because this is more for Barry. You got an F2 system, right?
Yep.
Okay, so turns out what I've been using is HBZ, which was recommended way back when from Starzona, and that has a 10 nanometer bandwidth. I just ordered a new one that Starzona has that has a 5 nanometer bandwidth. So I'm going to get rid of 5 nanometers worth of just background noise, and that's what the green is. So from now on, my raw subs are going to be that much better.
So Mario, when you say HPZ, you're talking about a noise filter, correct?
No,
Light pollution?
It's an H alpha oxygen filter.
Okay.
Okay.
No, it's a dual band, right?
Yeah, dual band.
Okay.
Which I use basically only when I'm doing Hyperstar.
Okay.
But it has to be that the high frequency one for the cone.
Yeah, I have a tendency of instead of getting green, I have a tendency of getting almost like a cyan.
Yeah, you get funny colored things because you're getting too much background. I'm just telling you that I'm letting you know because you got this system that there is a much narrower band available. It's not that expensive. Yeah. I ordered it, and from now on, I'm not going to get that green background.
So that's a 5 nanometer one. Okay.
It's 5 nanometer bandwidth. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyways, but I mean, you can get rid of it. You can get rid of it. See, I got rid of it with GAAC, but it's just a few more steps. So I prefer to make my life easy as I'm getting older.
And where did you get it from? Where'd you get it from? The narrow
Starzona.
Starzona. Okay.
Ask for the 5 nanometer new one.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a dual band yet, so that'll be probably a good one to add.
Well, if you're going to do one shot colored, you need a dual band. If you're just doing monochrome, you don't need it.
Right. No, I'm using one shot color with my ZWO.
Okay, then I highly recommend that you get one of these filters.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So here is this is still in the linear state. Now, multi-scale adaptive stretch. And get that. And you get, then I eliminated the, I don't know why the green arrow is still there. Shouldn't be there. Anyways, I eliminated the stars.
Mario, I got a question.
Yeah.
Could you back up one slide? So you have the multi-scale adaptive stretch process open, but
It says Verilux.
with the image, yeah, it's titled Verilux.
Okay, you're right. So what I did is Verilux in this case. I must have had both. I'm giving a talk at with Stop Party, and I just wanted to show that there were two different ways of doing it. Either one would have worked fine, but you're right. In this particular case, since it's labeled Verilux, I use Verilux. Both would give you basically the same thing. Sometimes there are differences, and sometimes I make a clone and just play, and I use the one that's best. Sometimes both of them will give you a poor result, and I take the best one and go to histogram, right, and tweak it and make it look perfectly fine. But when you tweak it, you don't have to do major shifts like you do as if you were starting from scratch. It's minor shifts, and you can make it perfect. All right, so now we got Verilux stretch, and we got rid of the stars. And Star X, yeah. Okay, so we got rid of the stars. I'm not sure why the green line is there. I think maybe, anyways, so the stars are gone, and you got the basic image there. Okay. I'm pretty sure that this has included Sharp, LHE2, 25, 75, and 160. And then I sometimes, if need be, I'll tweak it with unsharp, but only a tiny step. Because if you do unsharp the way it normally comes, it makes it look way too granular and too sharp. Yeah. I usually go midway. And that's just for tweaking purposes. And then combine them. And what I like to combine them with is a program, not inside. Let me stop share for a second. And then I'll show you the dual band technique, which is only 5 slides in a moment. Okay, so on the script and utilities, there's a thing called reintegrate stars. You can do it by PixInsight. I like this. You just pick the one that's a stylus image, pick the star image, and then combine, but I didn't pick anything yet, so it's not lit up. And it works very fast, and it gives you very nice results. And then at the end, rotate it. Come on. Why isn't it? Oh, there it is underneath you guys. I usually, for my 32-inch, I usually have to horizontal mirror it. For my C14, I have to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. But you have to know your system. And once you do, you can make it so north is always up and east is always west. East is always to the left. Okay, so let me go back. Share PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, come on. All right, so there's a new thing called dual band, narrow band filter processing. And it's useful for anyone who only has a one-shot color camera. How many don't have a mono camera? Okay, so this is for you. So the problem with dual band is you frequently can't bring out the blues, especially, or the sulfur like you would like to, because it's all set in the color camera settings. Here's a way to get around that. So here is my NBZ filter, which by the way I'm replacing. That's a 10 nanometer made for an F2 cone. And here is dual band by Color Magic ASCAR that is S2 and O3. So you say, well, why you get O3 here? Why do you need it in both? It's because the color blue is frequently much weaker than the H alpha. And I'm sure you've noticed that. Okay, and then you get green twice, so you get a green cast when you're doing a color camera. So here's a way to get around that. With the dual filters, I'm not using ASCAR C1, but I am using ASCAR C2. You have these two bands, and it's really difficult to separate the S from the H alpha. And the reason is they're so close together. So they frequently overlap in most filters. If you separate them...
Is this ASCAR also from Arizona?
Yeah, you can get it from them, but I think there are better filters than these. The one I'm using for O3 and H alpha, you want the name of that one? Give me 1 second, I'll get it. I'm sorry, it's buried. I will. I'll send you the name of it.
Yeah.
Just ask them for the newest one that's 5 nanometers. They'll know which one it is.
Okay.
All right. So you take 2 sets of images. Okay. And if you're not in extreme light polluted areas, then these two work perfectly fine. But in Florida, I need something tighter. In Gloucester, I can probably get away with these two. For Marblehead, you need the narrow band that's tighter. All right, so you take these two and you end up with an image like this and like that. This one will be bluish because it's O3 and S2, and this one will be reddish because it's dominated by H alpha. Then there is a specific program called HD, damn it, I'm getting the name. HD, hold on a second. Let me bring it up. It's on the processes. It's, again, if you don't have it, it's because you didn't upgrade. DBX. Come on, where is it?
I see dynamic background extraction.
No. I always forget where it is. I'm sorry. Maybe it's a script and yeah. DB extract. It's under scripts, utilities. When you get those 2 images, you click on DB extract, and then you tell it which is the H alpha and O3 filter, which is the S2 and O3 filter, and I haven't heard of this other one. It's a third filter, but these are the only 2 you need. And then you tell it what sensor you got. If you don't know, just look up the manufacturer. It'll tell you the sensor. There's plenty to choose from. Okay, I'm 071. And because it's a script, you can't iconize it. So I always have to change that and then tell it. But that's what you use, DB extract. All right, so let me close that. Go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so you got these 2 pictures. You had 2 sets of pictures. And you click DB extract. And you list this one is H alpha and this one is the O3. And then you wait several minutes. It does its thing, and you end up with a separate H alpha O3 and S2. But here's the key. Notice the O2 is pretty bright. That's because you collected it twice. And it normalized it for you. And the background all matches. It does everything I showed you with the others, it does for you when you use this technique. So now you got H alpha, O3, and S2, and you just follow the narrowband processing that we just did. And you end up with this, okay? It's the same as if you had a mono camera and started off with an O3, H alpha, and S2 filter, and then you process narrowband.
Wow.
Okay? And I did that process with the Rosette about 3 weeks ago, and the result. A lot of images of the Rosette, people really stretch the blue, and this whole area is blue. Again, I don't like Andy Warhol type pictures. This is here's the natural color that someone else was asking about just a while ago. It's a faint blue in the center and yellow and hot pink over here, which is the actual H alpha color. And I got a great result from doing the dual band. It's a very natural color, and it's a real color. I've looked at some of the professional photos. You got to be careful with professionals. They don't really care about color matching to the eye. I do, though. So I got this result. I thought it was very nice. Okay. And how did I get there? So here is red, green, blue H alpha, O3, and here is the O3S2. See what they look like? More blue here and more red here, right? DB extract. Here's the settings, 071, 03. I forgot I had this already in the PowerPoint. Click that, and this is the net result. So now I have an H alpha, an S2, and an O3. Process them, narrowband normalization, you can do that after. Narrowband combination, and you saw that result. And here is my settings. I think I tweaked this one a little bit more to the blue. And this one, instead of yellow, I'd look better in this particular spot. Yellow would be a little more over. Did that. And then just follow the standard steps that we just went through, and here's the final result. Okay, so I'm going to stop share. And now I'll be happy to answer any questions. I didn't look at the chat. Do I need to go through that, or you can just ask questions? Okay, go ahead.
I got a lot of catching up to do. I've been too busy with work.
Okay.
Mario,
That happens.
John here.
The other thing, Mario, is books. I know I got that original Warren Geller book. I think it is Warren's book. What is the best book that I can go to get back up to speed?
They're all kind of out of date right now.
Okay.
But PixInsight does have training videos, which they didn't have before, on their website. I would advise going through those.
Okay.
Warren Miller's talking about a version 3 book, but his version 2 book is, I think, 6-7 years old now.
Okay. Yeah, I have version 1. So.
Yeah, well, now you're way out of it.
I know.
Mario,
Yeah.
question. I haven't done any PixInsight work in a couple of years since my health. I upgraded to the latest version. And what happens to BlurX when you upgrade? You have to reinstall it every upgrade?
No, it'll just upgrade. Once you buy PixInsight, you got unlimited upgrades, and it'll take your version and just upgrade it.
I can't find it.
What do you mean?
I can't find it in PixInsight. I can't find the BlurX in the PixInsight.
You have to, Mario, I had that problem a couple of years, like 2 years ago when I first got it, and I did an update, and BlurX disappeared, and I had to reinstall it.
Put it
Okay,
on me.
so if you
to
bought
go-
it from him, from
Russell, yeah.
go to his website, and he'll have a record that you bought it from him. Just go to it and re-download it.
You have to get it from him. You can't keep the download around anywhere. It doesn't say it.
If you've lost it, I'm telling you how to get it. Just go to his
All right.
website, and he'll have a record that you bought it. Once you go to his homepage, he'll ask who you are and as long as you use your email that you used before, it'll pop up, and you're allowed to re-download it as many times as you need to.